Can you respond to that?
Yeah, I can try to. I think parents, what we're feeling, and I know what we're feeling, is curriculum is not transparent right now. And COVID opened the door up when all of our children were home learning online. And, you know, we saw straight into the classroom. And we were not aware of what was going on. We weren't aware of the content that was being taught, and there was no transparency. And then all of our kids go back, and we have many parents who are now asking for transparency, and they're simply not getting it from their schools.
If you did more of this involvement in the front end, would this avoid some of these clashes?
Well, how would you suggest parents get involved more? We're at school board meetings. We have local elected school board members who are parents on the board, and that's only a part of it. No parent was ever a part of this curriculum framework.
There needs to be a clearer process of where parents can be involved.
I think that the initial process is that we have entrusted the public school systems to teach our children academics. And a lot of parents are so busy parenting and working and keeping up with the day-to-day life that they don't actually understand everything that's being taught. And for my kids to come home and very openly tell me what is going on in their day-to-day school, it was shocking. Shocking. This right here came out from the Maryland State Department of Education. It's political propaganda that went to every single child in Kent County, Maryland, and every parent. It is a guy holding a picture that says November 3rd, flush the turd. It came out on September 27th of 2020. So the political propaganda, the gender ideology, that is not for school.
But it is saying that these topics are essential to health education, and they have existed for at least a decade when you look at the history around health and sexual and gender identity. Yes, there are new concepts that are being introduced, but the foundational premise of it, even the word transgender, has existed for a decade plus right now in health education across the country.
And let me try to answer Senator Simoneira's question directly. I think it's important because, as the superintendent points out, we're tearing ourselves apart. The local school systems and boards are being jammed with, folks coming in, as are MSDE and the state board. What this bill does is says this is statute, this is state law, this is the will of the Maryland General Assembly, that this framework has to be the case for all students across the state. If the State Department of Education says it's in statute, there's nothing they can do about it. They have to come back to us. Folks that have a concern have to come back to us. And says it's in statute, there's nothing they can do about it. They have to come back to us. Folks that have a concern have to come back to us. That's why putting this into statute is so important, so that we can stop the horseplay that's going on at the state level and also the local level with our boards.
Your opinion that if this becomes law, that all that'll go away, that the parents will say, oh, well, it's state law, so we're going to accept it now, and it's not a problem, and we don't want to change it.
Senator Simoneira,
well, I mean, that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying it goes away overnight. I'm not saying it goes overnight, but it does make it stronger. It does make it, because the superintendents and the state board and others, I know I have 14 bosses, right? And they themselves, they're like, hey, can you just change it? Can you just change it? Can you do this? Can you do this? That wasn't the majority though, that was some, right? Can you just change it? We could just change it. Can you just let them not do this, right? All this stuff happened. And regulations can change. We promulgate new regulations. It goes to AELR, and then AELR can change it. We can promulgate regulations, and it's at the whims of the 14 members on the state board appointed by the governor, Senate confirmed, and then your state superintendent. So, and health education is one of those things that is our evolution, human sexuality, now gender moment in this country. In a post-COVID world, and it won't go away overnight. Absolutely not. As I told you, I am coming from a state where it is very different in terms of who runs the halls of legislative, but at the end of the day, right, it picked up very strong opt-out rules, by the way, right? And at the end of the day, it will go away over time